you ran the New York City Marathon and then you performed in 2 shows.
The Broadway Ultra, I had made very public statements about what I wanted to do in the race.
Broadway star Jordan Litz announced that he will be running in tomorrow's New York City Marathon, then later star in 2 performances of Wicked. After that, die.
I was an athlete all of my life. I had very high expectations for how it was going to go.
You went to the Olympic trials in what year?
2012.
So what would you say swimming at that level taught you?
Running is a solitary sport, but swimming is even more solitary.
When you made the pivot, what was your musical theater background?
Zilch.
You're the longest running Fiyero in Wicked's Broadway history.
Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever predicted that. I would have been happy to be tree number 7. The more tools you have at your disposal, more easily castable you are.
Alrighty, Jordan Litz, welcome to Poster on High.
Thank you so much. I love that we've got the no socks thing going on.
I have to be comfortable.
No, me too.
Okay, so Jordan just ran 9 miles. I ran 4 of those 9 miles with you. How are you feeling?
I feel good. Honestly, 9 miles is so much easier than 26.2. I'll do 9 any day.
Yeah, so about a month ago, Jordan ran the New York City Marathon, 26.2 miles, plus the mile they don't talk about when you finish the race, so you have to walk. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I used to call it, but I have a name for it.
Oh, okay. You can tell me off camera later.
But you ran the New York City Marathon and then you performed in 2 shows, a matinee and a night show. You're doing the same thing today, as long as baby girl number 2 doesn't
Correct.
come out.
I keep checking my watch and we're good so far.
Jordan's wife is at the tail end of her 2nd pregnancy and the baby's due any second now.
Literally days.
But how does one run a marathon or run 9 miles and then perform in 2 Broadway shows?
Preparation. It's all about incrementally building up the mileage so that you are not just going out there and running a marathon and then doing 2 shows. Fortunately for me, Fiyero is what we call a princess track, where it's a pretty cake role. I guess I'm the 3rd most important character in the show, but I only sing 2 songs. And one of them is pretty physically demanding, and that's it. And then you get all the glory. The girls do all of the heavy lifting in the show. Elphaba, Glinda. I think Elphaba sings 9 songs. Glinda sings something like that. They're both on stage for the entirety of the show, and I think I have about an hour of stage time in a 2-hour and 45-minute musical. So I don't want to downplay it, because it is still very physical. It's a tough role, and anytime you have to be on Broadway at the most elite level, you have to bring it every single day. But yeah, it's just about calories, preparation, training, timing, all of that.
I like that you brought in the live factor, because regardless of of how demanding the part is, which you're being modest, because the part is very demanding, and you guys, not only are you performing on stage for a live packed audience pretty much every single show, but we talked about this and we saw it in our running interview, but the Gershwin Theater is on a rake stage. So you ran the New York City Marathon and then you're performing 2 shows, running around, dancing, singing on an incline.
Yeah. I mean, there was only one moment in the show that I was thinking I could genuinely rip my knee apart right now. And it was, you've seen the show. In Act 2, Fiyero swings in on a rope to help get Elphaba to safety. And it's about 7 or 8 feet up in the air that you swing in, and it's all on your own control. There's no one guiding you down, or you're not harnessed into anything. And I wear these boots. They're in here somewhere, but they're not comfortable. They're basically wood planks that you land on. And that was the only moment in the show where I was thinking this could go horribly wrong. But fortunately, everything worked out just fine. And once I got through that, I knew that show 2 would be cake.
You're like, show 2, I've got it in the bag if I can get through show 1.
Truly, show 1 was just I finished 40 minutes before half hour. And so that's about an hour and 10 minutes before showtime. That was the one that I was thinking, can we do this? And it was fine. Yeah, it ended up working out just fine.
What were the thoughts going through your head as you were walking from Columbus Circle, finishing the New York City Marathon, to then going to the Gershwin Theater?
Well, I just had tears in my eyes because I was terrified. The race didn't go the way I wanted it to. So I was an athlete all of my life. And so I had very high expectations for how it was going to go. And I had made very public statements about what I wanted to do in the race. And so I felt like I had let myself down a little bit in that, and I had let, people that had helped me get to that day down a little bit. So there was that feeling, and there was also the feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm not even halfway through my day right now. I have 2 more shows. But luckily, Julie is just this consummate lightning rod for our family, and she was able to like calm me down and bring me back to earth. And as we got over to the stage, everybody greeted me with the biggest smiles and the best hugs. And there's so many videos of me just like sobbing in my dresser's arms and in our head of hair, her arms, and a lot of people just lifting me up to get to the start of the show. And then once the show started, I just pressed the play button for 1,600 shows, and it happened.
1,600 shows. Yeah, you get those 10,000 hours, and it's kind of like you can do the show in your sleep a little bit, right?
I try not to.
Yeah,
I try not to.
Do you ever dream about Wicked?
Oh gosh, unfortunately all the time, and it's usually not the good dreams. It's like I'm thrown on for Elphaba and I've never sung the words before, and it's that kind of thing.
All of a sudden you're green and
oh
you're
my
like,
gosh, and I'm
this is my
flying
nightmare.
above 2,000 people, and I'm like, I've never done this before. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the training that went into preparing for the marathon, preparing for running, because I know you've only gotten to running relatively recently, right, in the past 2 years. So what did your training look like leading into the marathon?
I used Runna, Shoutout Runna. I'm not sponsored by them, but I needed to be very regimented with my time. I am the father of 1, about to be the father of 2. I live in Jersey, so I'm commuting in every day. So the time constraints were very rigid. And Runna, I felt, gave me the opportunity to have someone pointing me in the right direction. I was on a schedule. Everything was designed for me. I didn't have to think about anything. I could just go out there and press my start on my watch, and it would just tell me what to do, and then I'd show up and do it. So I followed their training regimen. I think my highest mileage week was 49 miles or something like that, which was like 4 weeks out or 3 weeks out from the marathon day, and I still did 8 shows that week, and that was one of the low points of the year, was knocking out almost 50 miles in 8 shows and all of that. But I found it really, really useful, and I'm going to use it again for next year's marathon.
So you think you'll do, we called it, I loved what you called it during the run, but Jordan coined this the Broadway Ultra.
The Broadway Ultra.
So you think you're going to do it again next year?
Well, I will do the marathon. Whether or not I'm on Broadway for that is up in the air. I've been with the show for 5 years now, and there comes a point where it's time to give somebody else a chance and pass on the white pants to another person. And so we'll see where I am in another 11 months. But if I could do the Broadway Ultra, I would do it again for sure.
What was the goal or pace that you were trying to hit at the marathon? Like, what was your goal?
Oh no, don't ask me that. So I had been training at 2:55 to 3 hour pace.
Oh my God.
And it felt comfortable. It felt very cozy throughout all of the training process. On the day, I got maybe about 3-4 hours of sleep the night before, but I still felt good. I still felt like it was definitely possible. And I talked to Casey, who's one of the
Casey Neistat?
Casey, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I talked to him beforehand because he's broken 3 before, and on the day I was like, I think I'm gonna go 3:07. I think that feels good to me. And he was like, okay, we'll take it out easy in the first half. He was like, if you want to be anywhere near 3 hours, you're gonna want to go out in like 1:32, 1:33, and then back half the hell out of it. And so I did that. I was out in 1:32 flat at the half. And then hamstring started to not feel good, so I eased off the gas, and then it unraveled very quickly from there.
What happened?
I think I learned a lot about fueling that day. I'm probably going to have people on the course like hand me a bottle of some sort. maybe halfway through, 8 miles, 16 miles, something like that, because I just wasn't getting enough fluids into my system. And it just locked up in a major way. I went from going, 650 miles to, I think my mile 20 was 12:30. And then I was like 11:10, 11:15, 13:48. And then I was able to like get myself back to something for the last mile and a half. I said, you will not walk across this finish line after all of this. So I was able to like get, a bunch of Gatorade into my system from the aid stations and survive the end of it. But I learned a lot about fueling and how to survive a marathon.
Yeah. Was this your first marathon?
First marathon.
Okay. The first New York City Marathon really is a humbling one. And I feel like I'd be so curious if you were to do maybe like the Philly Marathon, which I guess is, I don't know whether it's a couple months after the New York Marathon. I've done it before, but I think it would have been cool to see you do another marathon too, to kind of compare and see if you were able to get that time that you were looking for, because the New York Marathon really is just a hard one. And I feel like it's a testament to any marathon. Like, even if you're going for a certain goal, you never know what's going to happen that day.
I try not to put too much pressure on myself as far as time goes. Obviously, I wanted a time goal, but the overall goal for the day was finish the marathon alive, get to the stage and do 2 shows. And I accomplished that. And looking back, the day was a success. At the time, it didn't necessarily feel like that because, oh my gosh, man, I had put something out on social media the day before about I wanted people to yell Fiyero at me as I was running up the finish, because Elphaba has this song in Act 2 called No Good Deed where she yells like Fiyero as she's coming up through the trap door. And I was like, oh, that would be hilarious to have people yell that at me. And it was not funny when I was deep in the pain cave for the last 5 miles. But it did get me through. It did get me through having so many like Broadway fans out there cheering and yelling for you and getting you across the finish line.
Yeah, and you still finished at a great pace.
Yeah, if you look at the overall pace, you're like, oh, 8:30 is not that bad. But when you were going like 6:40 to 6:50 pace before that, oof, man.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, and we talked about this during the run, but the hardest part about posting online and sharing, your goals and what you're doing is that kind of social. There's pros and cons to it. It's like the social accountability. And I actually talked about this with Casey Neistat, because before he ran his first 3-hour marathon, he had always talked about wanting to run it and all the preparation he was doing before each marathon, like going for that sub 3 hours. And I forget how long it took him, but it took him a decent amount of time. And he said, like the hardest part about it was that so many people knew he was going for that. But then the best part about that is then having the people kind of cheering you on and keeping you going, even when you don't kind of cross the finish line at the time that you wanted. But definitely a double-edged sword.
For sure, yeah. And I felt that pressure a lot, especially with all of, oh my gosh, there was so much media coverage leading up to it. If I had just gone out and maybe I was doing it for myself, which honestly since I gave up swimming, my fitness has been for myself. I never posted about it. I never talked about it. I didn't even post a single video of me or a picture of me at the gym. Like it was for me because it brings me joy. And then through this and in raising money for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, I knew that I had to be a little bit more public with it so that I could bring in as many funds as I could for BCEFA. And through that, media coverage picked it up, and then all of a sudden it snowballed, and holy cow, SNL picked it up, and we were in trouble.
What was it like seeing SNL pick it up?
I mean, that's unbelievable. You get a name drop on SNL, and not even like a star of Wicked. He said Broadway star Jordan Litz. Like he dropped my name, which is unbelievable. But then I woke up that morning, I was like, well, we're doing it. We're doing all of this. Because up until that point, I thought, I don't have to. If I finish the marathon, we can cut out and get out of here. But no, after that, we were committed.
And then Kelly and Mark are picking it up. You've got every major news outlet. But
NBC, ABC, all of that stuff. It was crazy.
Right. It was so nuts. And it was funny because Jordan and I had been planning to do a run for a while.
For months.
Yeah. Because I have done your 2 close friends, Mary-Kate Morrissey and Allie Trim. So guys, I have to say today we are completing, what did you call it? You called it something when we were running. I said like the triology.
The Oscapella trifecta?
The Oscapella trifecta.
Yeah.
That's what you called it. I loved that.
Yeah.
So today's a big day.
It really is. And we'll have to bump into her on the way out.
We have to.
She's playing Glinda today. So
I kind of said this before we started running, but I also think one of the really cool things, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but for you, you were an elite swimmer, which I did not know about before doing a little bit of research on you before coming in here today. But it must have been kind of fun for you to get some athletic recognition around the New York City Marathon, having your athletic background without overly sharing it.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is like through all of this, I don't think anybody has even made the connection that I'm a swimmer. They just saw that this guy ran the marathon, this Broadway star ran the marathon and then did 2 shows. I don't know that anybody's really brought up the swimming outside of this little conversation.
Okay,
here,
so let's bring it up because you went to the Olympic trials in what year?
2012.
2012. Who else was there? Michael Phelps?
Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte, Caleb Dressel, all of the guys.
Okay.
All of the guys. Yeah, it was a very unfortunate time to be a swimmer. But what a dream. I mean, to be in the pool as like you're sending off like possibly the greatest generation of swimming. Wow, what a dream.
So you grew up competitively swimming.
Yeah, I think my first race was when I was like 4. Yeah, 4 is when I had my first race, and then I got a little more serious about it when I was 8. I was still playing baseball and swimming at that point, doing all of the sports. And then when I got into high school, it became very apparent that I had a very good skill set for this and had the potential to swim in college and beyond. So then I became a one-sport athlete, which looking back, I don't know that was necessarily the best choice for me. I think there's something to not getting too honed in on one sport through your early high school time. I think you're still trying to figure out who you are. It's still very easy to get burnt out on a sport. And I feel like I got a little burnt out in high school and then rediscovered my love of it as I was getting through college. But yeah, it's been a huge part of my life for 20 years. So it was tough to give it up and then find something else.
Yeah, but I also think there is some power in pursuing that one sport and being super disciplined with it, because when I think about swimming, I grew up around kids that swam. My husband's little brother was a competitive swimmer at Georgetown, and I know the dedication. It's like 2-a-days, early mornings. You're just hyper disciplined. It has a lot of synergies with running, I would say. So what would you say swimming at that level taught you?
As you said, discipline. I mean, it's such a solitary sport. Running is a solitary sport, but swimming is even more solitary, because you and I went on a run today and we chatted the whole time. When you're swimming, there's none of that. You chat a little bit on the wall, you chat before, after, but when you are in the pool, it is you and that black line, and that is it. So you get very comfortable being in your own head and motivating yourself, and especially for my case, when I went to Olympic trials in 2012, nobody on my team swam my events. We sent 4 people to Olympic trials. One of our girls was a sprint backstroke freestyler. One of our guys was a sprint fly, sprint freestyle, and I was like a mid-distance IMer. So none of us trained together. And so you kind of just get used to motivating yourself and disciplining yourself, and that translated perfectly to a sport like long distance running. Because when I say, hey Jeff, let's go run 15 miles today, he's like, absolutely not, that's not happening. So that came in handy for sure, all of the self-discipline from the sport of swimming.
Yeah, and really sticking to a strategic schedule. Like, you have to be able to do that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I want to spend as much time with my daughters and my wife as I possibly can at this point. So how do I get in as much mileage as I possibly can and see them, which is the number one priority.
And when you say the IM, you did the 200 IM, which is that every stroke?
Individual medley. Yeah. It's all the strokes, fly, back, breast, free.
What's it like going up against somebody like Michael Phelps?
You're not really going up against him. I mean, yes, you're in the water at the same time, but it's like, have fun, dude. I'll be back here 20 seconds behind you kind of thing. But it's watching him in the races. I was never in any finals. Well, not at Olympic trials. I was never in any finals at Olympic trials with him. But to watch him, it's just like, it's a work of art. His stroke is perfect. He's perfectly designed for it. You want to talk about self-discipline and commitment. There is no one. I mean, we always talk about the GOATs of sports, whether it's Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Eliud Kipchoge, Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is in the conversation for me of greatest athlete of all time, any sport. I mean, there's no one more dominant than that guy. I think he had 28 medals, 23 of them gold. No one is even close. So to be in the same room with someone that dominant is so motivating.
Mm-hmm. What do you think does make the biggest difference when it comes to swimming at that level? Like, what makes Michael Phelps, because you're still, you know, when you were racing in the Olympic trials in 2012, you were still top 25 in the country, but going up against somebody like Michael Phelps, like, what is the biggest differentiator there?
I think it's just it's the perfect storm of everything. I mean, he had the perfect body type. He had Bob Bowman as his coach, who had a very clear vision for how to take him and mold him into the greatest athlete of all time. He had the perfect work ethic. I don't think it's any one thing. It has to be the perfect storm of all of these things working together to create a freak of nature.
Mm-hmm. And then at what point did you decide to step away from the sport, and what was that like for you mentally?
So 2012, I went to trials, and for about a year after that, I was in this limbo of, do I want to continue this and take a shot in 2016 for Rio, or do I want to move on? But basically, I would have had to hope that those guys retired, because no one's beating them. And fortunately, I moved on because they didn't retire. They came back and they qualified for the next Olympics. So it was an identity crisis for a few years, trying to figure out who I am, and that was my dream for so many years, was to be an Olympian or try to be a professional athlete. But man, it was the best decision that I ever could have made, and I found musical theater shortly after that. In 2015 was when I did my first show, and it just snowballed from there. Everything. I've been so fortunate that so many doors have opened up my way, whether it was Disney or Wicked or the Radio City Christmas Spectacular or whatever, finding my manager and agent and things like that. The doors have just opened up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think also what's hard too about making the transition is, like, a lot of times you talk to athletes and it's like they had this career-ending injury where there was no other choice but to pivot, but you had to make the mental decision to be like, I need to step away from this now and figure out what's next for me.
Yeah, the decision was definitely not made for me. I had to choose to do it. And there's so many parallels to being in a long running show like this. You a lot of times have the opportunity to stay for a very long time because the show is in no danger of closing, especially now. And eventually you kind of have to make the decision, when is the right time to move on and do something new for yourself. So I think I learned a lot through that time of transition that hopefully I can apply to my life here in the next year.
I mean, I feel like the athlete mentality translates in so many aspects of life, you know, from obviously the stamina that it takes to perform at the level that you're performing at here on Broadway, 8 shows a week, to then also being able to go home and be with your kids and have the energy to kind of be with these young kids that have so much energy running around. It just, it drives you in so many different ways. When you made the pivot, like, what was your musical theater background?
Zilch.
Zero.
Nothing.
So you went from a lead athlete to musical theater having not had any experience.
And started at the absolute bottom.
Yeah.
Yes, like zero experience. I think I did like a couple of little church plays. My mom was the music director at my churches growing up. So like I did like little things like that where I had like a scene or two playing something. So no real dance experience, zero dance experience, no real acting experience, a lot of singing experience. So luckily most of musical theater is about being a great singer, and everything else I just learned along the way. Had great choreographers, great directors, great mentors that saw potential and were able to mold me.
What was the draw for you?
I had always loved singing. Singing is just, I nerd out about it. I mean, you've seen, I do these a cappella videos with Ali and MK. That's like where I'm the happiest, is creating chords and singing with other people, and being able to marry that with acting and expressing yourself in a very unique way that you don't get to necessarily do as a human every single day, was so attractive and so unique. And every day you get to, or every few months you get to play something new and try a new character. Not for the last 5 years. I've been Fiyero for 5 years now, but up until that point, it's like you do a role for 3 months, move on, do something else. And so that constant change of temperature and lifestyle was really appealing.
Yeah. What was it like when you started auditioning for Fiyero? Because I know you auditioned a few times before getting the standby part on the tour.
Yep.
What was it like going up against kids? Like, I've interviewed Mary-Kate, I've interviewed Allie Trim, and they're examples of people that wanted to do musical theater their entire lives. From summer camps to, I know Allie was a, child star. Like, what is it like going up against kids like that have that level of experience?
I think it worked in my advantage, because I was not coming in with any expectations or any pressure on me. I remember the first callback that I had for Fiyero. It was with a guy named Sam Gravitt, who played Fiyero here, and Jeff Sears, who played the understudy of Fiyero on tour. And Sam Gravitt, his mom was a Tony Award winner, and his dad was like a producer in the industry. So he's like been in it for a long, long period of time. And Jeff Sears had been in Book of Mormon on Broadway. He'd been in Avenue Q. He'd done a bunch of stuff. And I came in with this like blank sheet of paper as a resume, nothing, no professional credits. And those guys are wildly talented. I mean, they're such unbelievable performers, but I think there may have been something appealing to the casting team about this unknown random guy that they could take a chance on and mold into something. I remember Lisa, our associate director of the show, she said when I left my final callback that day, she turned to the team and said, he's going to be Fiyero someday, just not today. And sure enough, a year and a half later, I ended up getting to do it. But initially it was, I think it worked in my favor to just be a rando. Yeah.
What would your advice be to somebody that has, because I'm sure there's other kids out there that have, and I've heard of it before, like there's sometimes people that get into on-screen acting and they had never really acted before. I always think about Henry Golding. So what would your advice be for somebody like yourself that is making a pivot from something totally different to then wanting to get into the world of acting, musical theater, on screen, on stage?
I get this question all the time at the stage door. And the two things that I tell people, I think I mentioned it on the stage earlier, work hard and be nice to people. Those are the only things you can control. Everything else is out of your control. The casting directors have a vision and you're their vision or you're not. So you go in, do your thing with your skill set, and pray. The other thing that I tell people, which is a little bit more practical, is develop your toolbox, your skill set. You need to walk in the room with as many different tools under your belt as possible. Work on your singing in all different kinds of styles, work on your dancing in all kinds of different styles, learn how to act very naturally but dramatically and comedically. The more tools you have at your disposal, the more easily castable you are. Casting directors will be able to fit you in a lot of different ways. Not everybody is a principal. That's just the nature of the business, unfortunately. But if your toolbox is huge, you can play the understudy of a principal and do several other different roles within a show, and then hop to a different show and hop to a different show because you can do all kinds of different things. So build your toolbox. And I think that applies to all different facets of life, not just performing.
Yeah. If you could go back and tell your early Fiyero self one thing, what would be your advice to him?
Don't change a thing.
Yeah.
Don't change a thing because it's all going to work out. At the time, I was like so happy to just be in the show and be in the understudy position. And I would have ridden that out until my death because I had no expectations of ever playing Fiyero full time. I just wanted to make money and perform in a beautiful, unbelievable show. So yeah, I wouldn't tell him to change anything because it's all worked out. I worked my butt off to get here, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Except practice your tropes, right?
Tours. My
Practice
tours.
your tours.
My tropes.
What are the tours? They're the little pirouette things.
It's like a jump spin.
Yeah.
It's like you can have like a single tour, a double tour. I don't know if people do triple tours. I'm sure they do. But like it's a jump and a turn. So you like jump and then spin and face the exact same way that you were doing.
Yeah, we were talking with Jordan on the run about how the hardest thing for you to master within your toolkit was the dancing.
Yes.
But you got your hours of practice in and you were able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like I said this on the run, but dancing has its own language, much the way that singing does. Acting has a language as well, but I feel like everybody finds their own technique and their own way to create the character. Dancing has its language, and I didn't speak it when I started. So it was about just learning on the fly and learning from my choreographers and my dance captains and things, and trusting them that they were telling me the right information.
You've been Fiyero now for a little over 5 years. You've done over 1,600 shows. You're the longest running Fiyero in Wicked's Broadway history. Well, when you hear that stat, what does that mean to you?
I mean, never in my wildest dreams would I have ever predicted that. As I said, I would have been happy to be tree number 7 for the rest of my life. And to live 6 doors away from Norbert Leo Butts now, and him and I be good buddies and be the longest running Fiyero on Broadway. It's like, what? That is such a dream. I cannot believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, when you were first on kind of taking on the role of Fiyero, I know Julie, your wife, was also in musical theater. You guys met at Disney World where she was playing Disney princesses. You were also there at Disney World playing different parts. How did Julie help you craft your Fiyero? Like, did you guys workshop it together?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think she and I really talked about Fiyero too much. I mean, she helped me run my lines for the auditions and things like that, and she probably knows the show better than I do at this point because I only know my part and she's seen the show like 26 times. Mm-hmm. So she'll quote the show and I'm like, is that from Wicked? I have no idea. But I don't think she and I ever really worked on it too much because, you know, we kind of try and keep our work life and our personal life a little bit separated because I live in this world all day, every day. And so I just want to see her when I go home and obviously we talk about work, but, and she also wasn't an actor. Sorry, Jules. I know she was a phenomenal, beautiful dancer and she, played Disney princesses all throughout her life, but she didn't grow up wanting to do musical theater or performing in general. She kind of fell into this as well. She got scouted in Oklahoma by Disney casting people and they were like, come out and do the college program. And she said, sure, why not? I'll do that. And then joke's on her. She was there for 11 years and 3 in Tokyo, which was really cool. She did 3 years in Tokyo Disney.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's so wild how Disney's everywhere. Like there's a Disney Paris.
All
Disney
over
Tokyo.
the place. We've been to Disney Paris. Yeah, oh. We went there on our vacation. We went there a day on our vacation when we were in Paris. But yeah, there's one in Shanghai, Hong Kong, Tokyo, here, Disneyland. Yeah, I think there's 6 total.
Everywhere. Well, we talked about running in the beginning of this. I kind of want to talk about the physicality of playing Fiyero because I feel like, and you're drinking something right now, which we're going to tap into too. So to play Fiyero on Broadway, you have to keep up a certain size, right? Like you have to be muscular. You got to fit in those white pants well, right? And like fill them out.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing I feel like for men specifically is you get really lean from long distance running. So how do you make sure, and what are you eating, like to keep your physicality up with all the mileage that you're getting in?
I lift heavy when I go into the gym. I think it's very easy and I prioritize it. A lot of times runners, in my very little experience running, like, let's make that clear. I've been running for like a year.
5:18 mile.
Which is impressive, guys, because we're sitting 5:14 mile, and we're sitting in Jordan's dressing room, and there's this little like what is it? There's a get that. There's a trophy behind us, and we were like, what is this trophy? Okay, what does it say? Fastest men's Broadway miler, and you've only been running for 2 years. Yeah. How fast did you run it?
5:13.
Wow.
5:13.
September 7th, 2025.
I mean, look, there are like middle schoolers that would smoke me out there, but that's not bad. 5:13 is pretty good.
No, I mean, this is something to be proud of.
I am. Definitely am.
And
Fastest man on Broadway.
I'm scared of swimmers when they enter the running world.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, like your breath control today. I was huffing and puffing on our run for other reasons, guys, that you'll find out.
I was going to say, yeah. Like, you have some excuses here. You have some excuses.
But this is pretty cool. And wait, who was the guy that came in behind you?
Travis Tabor. He's my understudy. He's one of the Fiyero understudies. He's a phenomenal athlete as well. He and I play Broadway softball together. He's the captain of the Broadway softball team.
I love this.
We won the championship, not this last year. We got smoked this last year. But the year before, we won the Broadway League softball championship.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I like that you keep your love for sports alive, you know? Like, would you say that running and keeping your fitness up, like, and I know even probably before you got into running, you were probably going to the gym and lifting before the show. Like, what role does that play when you are then on stage?
I mean, it makes the show so easy.
Yeah. You get that post-run high going.
100%. That's right.
Post-run high. The endorphins are flowing.
Truly. I mean, I will not name names. But I have had many a Fiyero complain about how out of breath they are in dancing through life.
Many a Fiyero.
Many a white pant. And I love
musical theater.
It's the best.
You guys are just so funny.
It's so geeky. It's geeky, but it's so much fun. But I can honestly say that I have never once been out of breath in any part of this show. And that is strictly from the 20 years of base that I built from swimming and all of the fitness that I do outside of this. It plays such an integral role in why I'm notorious for never calling out of the show. I think in 1,600 performances outside of vacation or paternity leave, I've called out probably 20 times or something like that in 5 years. And that has to do with all of the training that you do outside of the show and in the gym and on the road and in the pool. So when you come in here, this is just, it's so easy.
Okay, yeah, we're currently in Jordan's dressing room. So this is like where the magic happens. We have this beautiful costume sitting right in front of us.
Yeah.
The one that you wear in the opening act looks very heavy. I can't imagine wearing that after running 9 miles.
I only wear it for like 30 seconds, so it's really not that bad. And all of my other costumes are very tight and very light. So
yeah, no, this room is it's really special. It's cool that you get it all to yourself too.
Yeah.
Although I would get lonely sometimes.
I don't. I don't.
Like, I'm such a girl where if I was getting ready, I'd want like people around me.
But look, I can go visit people, and
That's
I usually do. So like, one of my rituals is to go and kick it with the witches down on the first floor, because it's like I never get to see them. Like, what you guys don't realize when you see the show is that I never see Elphaba in the show. Never. Either she's on stage and I'm off stage, or I'm on stage and she's off stage, or we're on stage together. Yeah. I never see MK or Lencia or Alyssa. I never see them as themselves, except for maybe about 10 seconds before As Long As You're Mine. We have a moment before we walk on to sing that duet where we're like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Like, good to see you. So if I don't go visit them, if I don't go visit MK or Elphaba while she's getting green, I won't see her. And so much of having a successful relationship, especially an intimate relationship on stage, is developing some sort of friendship. Otherwise, the audience isn't going to believe it. They can smell that a mile away. So it's really important to me to create friendships with my witches and the wizards right next door. And I've got Bach and Dillamond over here. So, you walk around, and while I do have my own dressing room to retreat to, I love to go visit people and hang out with them and catch up with them, see how their day was, how they're feeling. It's so important to me.
Yeah, it's so true. Like the chemistry off stage is so important to be able to show that real chemistry on stage. Also, as Fiyero and somebody that's been on the show for 5 years, you have been through so many Elphabas and Galindas.
That's right. Yeah, I think I need to tally it up, but I think I've had probably around 15 Elphabas and 16 Glindas, something like that. So a lot of witches.
All right, what are we drinking here? What do you have in this shaker?
So this is just water.
Okay.
I got this is my show bottle that I have here. I've got all my different stickers that people have gifted to me over the years.
So cute.
Swankified. I love this one. Jennifer, our Glinda standby, got me that one when we were in Salem. Little different Fiyeros and stuff. And then this is just an electrolyte drink by Relight. I've actually just kind of started working with them. They sent me some stuff and I tried it out, and it's
Should we hold it?
yeah.
Relight.
Shout out Relight.
There we go.
MK works with Relight as well, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good for her golf game, guys.
Truly, yeah. And that was one of the issues that I had in the marathon, is that I just did not have the correct fueling strategy. I thought that I did going into it, but I'm a heavy sweater, so maybe I just needed to take on a lot more salt and things like that during the race. So shout out Relight.
You know what? Next year, you're going to come back with a whole new strategy. I also feel like when it comes to fueling during a race, you just got to practice it during your 20-mile practice runs and kind of figure out what works for you.
For sure. And I had.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, I did all the things. But I think I just need more of it. I wasn't getting on as much liquid as I did on my long runs because they get those little cups and sometimes they're not even half full because they didn't fill them up all the way, or you're trying to take it and most of it goes down your face. And so we're going to practice some of that for next year around.
I'm going to have to practice too. The last time I ran the New York City Marathon, I took one too many of those caffeinated goos, and my friend who's a nurse, Maria, my maid of honor, was waiting for me at mile 25 as I was finishing, which by the way is the worst place to stand.
Horrible.
Yeah, unless you're an elite runner who's coming through no problem.
I don't know. I think everybody is in pain at mile 25.
But I was pale as a ghost. I basically finished and immediately went to one of the emergency people waiting there. I was like, I need you to hold me up.
Oh my gosh. This was your first time running or your last time?
That was my second time running it. Yeah, I've only done the New York City Marathon twice.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it. Are you going to do it again?
I'm definitely going to do it next. I think I'm going to do it next year. I'm not going to say definitely.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'll see you out there.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah.
But I really think you should do another one
like,
outside of the New York City
Off
Marathon.
the record, that's going to be
crazy.
4 or 5
Yeah.
months postpartum?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a story.
I know.
Holy crap.
That's going to be my Fiyero moment.
Come on. That's so cool. Well, there was a woman I was watching.
That's my Broadway Ultra.
Heck yeah. Absolutely. That's more than what I did. And you're going to, having a toddler, you're going to be deep in it. You're going to be deep.
But it's going to be so cute. I'll put her in a little outfit.
Get ready. It's going to be all on your shoulders, my friend.
That baby's going to be running with us, though. We're going to do stroller runs.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
We gotta.
Absolutely. I do need to get a stroller for a running stroller. I think
honestly, our daughters are going to be the same age. We should put them in the stroller.
Let's go.
Do a stroller run.
I am so into that.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marathon training 101.
Okay, Facebook Marketplace. I'm looking for a running stroller now.
Yep.
Done.
Well, you've got a lot going on. We're on the topic of kids. What would be your advice to girl dads out there that are balancing work, life, new babies, 1 2.5-year-old? What's your advice to girl dads out there?
Spend as much time with them as you can, because this is all important. And I love getting to sit here and talk to you and meet all of you and build your career and all that stuff. And all of that is important because you do need to, between you and your wife or your husband or whatever, you do need to provide and give them a great environment. But the way you do that is they don't care about that stuff. They just want to be with you. And this morning when I'm going to get choked up talking about it.
Aww. She was sad when you were leaving. It's a Saturday morning. I get it.
It's tough. And I don't see her until tomorrow now. So, woo.
Yeah.
It's been a long year. Sorry. Yeah, and she just she grabs your hand and she says, "Daddy, stay. Daddy, come sit with me." And it's just really hard to leave every day to come do this. So
Yeah. You're dedicated to the show. And it is hard on a Saturday. I can't even imagine that with a young girl. You know, I was watching this video that made me cry today, and which is like the hormones. Or I literally cried at anything. So I'm gonna like, don't make me cry. Yeah. Yeah, he's got the hormones going too. But it was like a Halloween parade at this kid's school, and the caption over the video was like the power of showing up, and it was like this little kid kind of walking, and he was just in maybe like a little bit of a bad mood, and then all of a sudden he sees his mom and the face lights up. But it is so true. Kids just want to be with you.
It is the best. Every morning I walk down the stairs and she sees me coming down the stairs, because I get up like an hour after, 2 hours after they get up. Because of the nature of what I do. I get home at 1 a.m. or something like that. So the girls get up before I do. And then every morning I come downstairs and she's like, Daddy. And then like we're on, and it's game time and it's play time. And it's the best part of my day. I love being Fiyero. I love doing Wicked, and I love performing. I love running and all of the exciting things that I get to do that the people see. But the best part of my day is spending those precious moments with Greta and future baby 2.
What is your plan with future baby 2? Like, will you take a little bit of a paternity leave, or will you keep going?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that's up in the air at the moment. As of now, my contract with Wicked is up March 1st, so I have 3 months left here. Whether or not I continue to stay on with the show is still up in the air, and we'll see. We'll see about that. So as of now, the plan is to take a week, and then come back into the show, push through March 1st, and then regardless of what happens next year, either I'm done with the show and then I'll have all the time in the world, or I continue on with the show and then I will take some more paternity leave next year. But yeah, the game plan right now is a week, get the girls set up, get back in the show, push through for a couple more months, and then we'll see after that. 1
week, guys. So no sleep, basically, with a newborn. Energy levels, and you're going to be coming back for. So you've done over 1,600 shows. Do you want to get to like 2,000?
I don't think I can at this point. Like if I finish March 1st, it'll be around 1,800-ish. But look, I'm padding my stats at this point. I don't need to do anything else with this role. Like 20th anniversary cast, here for both movies, longest running Fiyero. There's nothing else that needs to be done except just I love being here. That's the reason that I'm here. So no, I don't need to hit 2,000. What a crazy mark would that be, though? That'd be unbelievable.
I know. I mean, I feel like above 1,600 is more than enough.
Yes.
How do you keep yourself motivated for a show after that many performances? And then also when you're tired and exhausted and have a newborn that's keeping you up at night. Like, how do you show up for the audience?
Yeah, it's the people. It's the people here. Every crop of witches that comes in completely changes the show for me. MK's Elphaba is so much different than Lencia's Elphaba. It's not better. It's not worse. It's a different pacing. She delivers lines differently. She sings differently. So I spend the first 4 or 5 months of us working together just like finding what our show is and experimenting, and then over the next rest of the course of the contract, we're fine-tuning those little things that we've discovered and having fun along the way. So, and every audience is different. Audiences will go crazy one night and then crickets the night after. It's just it's this living organism every time you step on the stage, and it's about playing every single night and figuring out what works that night. So it always keeps it fresh to me. And then to bring it back to the athlete mentality, I swam the 200 IM for 20 years. And that event never got boring to me, because I was always trying to have the perfect turn, the perfect underwaters, the perfect stroke, the perfect stroke count. And it's the same here. I'm always trying to sing the note exactly in tune with the correct resonance, or deliver that line so that it gets just the comedic timing that I want. And you're always striving for that perfect show, which doesn't exist. You will never have the perfect show. But you try anyway.
Right. Yeah, it is always different. And I feel like that is the beauty of live theater is it's kind of something new every time that you step onto that stage.
For sure. Yeah. And that's so much different than film is, because once you do it, it's set, and the Wicked movie will be the Wicked movie for all eternity. And whatever choices Jonathan Bailey made as Fiyero on that will live on forever. 1,600 shows, I get to do something different every single night within a box, within a framework that still tells the story. But I get to, the audience isn't giving me this tonight, so I'm going to try this. And my voice isn't quite feeling like it wants to do this, so I'm going to sing the note like this. And it's just, there's a freedom to it that's so unique to theater.
Yeah. How do you keep your voice fresh for 8 shows a week?
Well, I don't drink. I don't drink anything. I drink water.
Yeah.
Electrolytes.
Drinking electrolytes.
But I don't drink alcohol. I try and avoid sugar. Sugar really gives me like swelling in the voice, and honestly knees and everything like that. I feel like sugar is the death of, we're going to look back at sugar in 50 years the way we look at smoking, in my opinion. It is just, it's so bad. So if I can avoid eating after shows, that's another thing. Sugar and eating after shows, if I do both of those things, everything else tends to fall into place. Technique obviously comes into play, but everybody on Broadway has great technique for the most part. It's about how you take care of yourself outside of the show that I think sets apart the really elite performers and the people that are just getting by.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. What is like your go-to meal before a show?
I love a tilapia and broccoli and a baked potato. Wow. I feel like that's like a standard for me.
Baked potato. So I thought you were gonna say like a peanut butter sandwich with like banana.
Well, no, I mean I have that too. Like I've got peanut butter and honey sandwiches over here in my dressing room, like that I will scarf down before matinee here soon. But if I have enough time, I feel like that really sets me up for success.
Jonathan Bailey, who you mentioned, plays Fiyero in the Wicked movie. Did you have an opportunity to talk to him about the movie and his part? No,
I haven't gotten to meet him. I know that he's from the UK, which living over there, he came and they filmed the movie over there, and I think the only time he's been over here really has been for the premieres. We did do like a private screening for the first movie and the second movie. Ariana was there, Cynthia was there for the first one. I've met a lot of the original Broadway cast, but not so much of the movie cast, here and there a little bit. But no, I haven't gotten a chance to chat with Jonathan Bailey, but I know that he is aware of who I am because he did an interview recently and mentioned that I ran the marathon and then did 2 shows. So
it's pretty cool to know that you're on his radar, right?
If you want to run, bro, come on out.
We need
let's
that.
Do it. I would be totally up for that.
We've talked maybe about your contract coming to an end. You may be shifting gears. What do you think the future has in store for you? What are some of the things that you would like to accomplish in the coming years?
I don't want to lock myself down to anything. I want to keep running. I love running. I really do. I've fallen in love with the sport. I love racing. I love the discipline that it takes. I love the meditation that it provides for me. So I'm going to keep running for sure. As far as career goes, whatever is going to make me happy and give me the opportunity to spend as much time with my family as possible, that is the avenue that I will pursue. I am open to TV, film, stage, concerts, all of that.
Concerts.
Like,
could you see yourself producing your own music?
Well, so MK was over at my house yesterday, and we are in the process of, this is the first time we're saying this out loud. We're in the process of doing a a cappella live concert. So we're going to hopefully flesh that out into something big enough to possibly tour around the country with. So
that would be amazing.
We'll see. It won't be just the 3 of us. We'll kind of like bring in some guests and have like a small band and things like that. But a cappella has like really taken on a life of its own. So why not pursue something with that.
I mean, I feel like people would go crazy just based on how viral those videos do of you guys sitting in the stairwell singing.
Truly. There's become a Wicked fan base, if you will. So yeah, we have to see it through for sure.
What about being back in movies? Like, is that something you see yourself doing? Maybe I could see you in more Hallmark stuff, just movies in general.
Hallmark, you have my number.
Yeah.
Any day, man. You let me know. No, it's such a blast. The Hallmark thing was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Mm-hmm. It's fast. It's furious. They're efficient. They know their formula. Everybody is so kind and so sweet. I would do Hallmark films every year. Mm-hmm. It was such an incredible experience.
Is there any role that is a dream role for you?
I think a lot of actors say this, but I think the dream role is to originate something, to create something brand new. I mean, there are roles, like Fiyero was a dream role for sure, but this guy right here set the standard. And whenever anybody thinks of Fiyero, they think of Norbert Leo Butz. Well, they think of Jonathan Bailey now too, because he was the movie Fiyero. But
I think of Jordan Litz. I don't know.
There we go. Come on.
You were my Fiyero because
that's true.
When
that's
we
true.
saw Wicked, it was you. It
that's
was you
true.
and Mary Kate, and I feel like it was Allie.
If
but
it
I'm
was
not sure.
Allie Trim, that is unreal.
I know.
cannot believe that.
I have to go back and look.
You should pull up your playbill. Although
Yeah.
I don't know. They may have.
Well, because when I did it, when I went, Mary
standbys.
Kate was standby. Yeah.
Yeah. So you may not know.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know who it was.
I'm sure it's in the system somewhere. But yeah, whenever anybody thinks of Fiyero, they think of Norbert Leo Butz. He was the guy that created the lines. He was the guy that first said them. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that first sang the big Up That I Fell note in As Long As You're Mine. So I want to be the first Norbert Leo Butz in a role, whatever that role is. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something out there that is yet to be written or is in the process of being written that has my name on it.
Being that you've been Fiyero for the past 5 years, you were the Fiyero when Wicked 1 came out and Wicked 2 came out. How would you say the audiences changed as the movies came out?
Surrounding so I was here also for the 20th anniversary, which was a year before the movie came out. And the contrast of the 3 years that I've been on Broadway as Fiyero is unbelievably immense. For the 20th anniversary, every audience and every performance was like this sitcom, unbelievable energy. It was crazy. And then when Wicked 1, the first movie, came out, it was very similar. You had so many people that were coming to see the show for the very first time now because of the movie. So the energy was still very high. They were laughing at lots of things, but a little less so, because they knew the jokes that were coming. It was pretty similar to what we do in Act 1. It was just longer. And now since movie 2 has come out, it's been very interesting. It's been 2 weeks, I think now, or 2.5 weeks or so since the second movie came out. And the audiences have been aware of our show. They're very aware of what's coming. There are no surprises left. When I used to get put in the cornfield at one point, people would be shocked by that because of what it meant for the future of my character for the rest of the show. There is no surprise anymore. There's no surprise at the end of the show anymore when we discover new secrets and things like that. So the audiences, the reactions have been very subdued compared to what they were. They still stand up at the end of the show. They always do because they're so appreciative. But it's been a very interesting experience to see from the 20th anniversary to Wicked 1 to Wicked 2, the stark contrast in audience response. Ticket prices are through the roof right now because Wicked is the hottest ticket in Broadway right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that is interesting because it's almost like Wicked 2 spoils the ending of the Broadway show.
For sure, and it's so accessible to everyone now.
Yeah.
You can just pull it up soon you'll be able to pull it up on Amazon Prime for $15-20 and everybody can see what happens at the end of Wicked. Mm-hmm. Whereas for 22 years or so, you either had to look it up online, which what's the fun in that, or come see it live and experience it for yourself. So yeah, a little bit of the secret and a little bit of the magic is rubbed off a little bit because of the movie, but I also think that it's bringing in more first timers than ever before.
So it's bittersweet.
A little
it's
bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll change anything about the onstage play because of this.
I highly doubt that they will. I highly doubt that they will, because this is its own thing. Like, what we do here is so different than what they do on film. There are things that they can do where they take their time with the scene or a delivery. There's a moment in Act 2 where Jonathan Bailey did this, where he's deciding whether he's going to go with Elphaba or Glinda. In our show, it's quick, and it just bursts out of Fiyero, and he says, "I'm going with her," and it almost surprises him as much as it surprises the witches. In the movie, he had all of this time to be able, you could see the process on his face of him making the decision.
Right.
We don't have that kind of time, and people 100 rows back can't even see it anyway. So the line deliveries are so much different in film than they are on stage. So I can't imagine that they'll ever change our show, just because it wouldn't translate. Maybe musically they could change some things, but then that also changes it for the orchestra, and it's this whole domino effect. But we'll see.
I feel like it's kind of cool to see both, like to see the world of Oz and Shiz imagined in Wicked 1 and 2 in the movies, and then to come in and see it on stage really is a different experience.
Truly. Yeah, and you get to see the original, the original entity of what it was.
Yeah. All right, let's end with a couple pop questions.
Hit me.
Who in the cast is the biggest chaos agent backstage?
Celia Hottenstein or Danny Quadrino, who's our Bach over here. Those two, and if you get them together, the show's done.
What makes them so crazy?
Celia does this thing that cracks me up, where she will put lipstick all over her teeth. And then all over, she's one of our Glinda understudies too. So she's like one of the most beautiful women you'll ever see in your life, but like the goofiest dork as a human. I love you, Celia. But yeah, she's chaos.
We got to get Celia and Bach on the show.
Oh, please do. And she's a phenomenal athlete. I think she ran the NYC half maybe 4 or 5 years ago and went like 132 or 131.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to need her on the running interview show.
Bring her in.
She's the next up in the Wicked.
I will
the
pass
Wicked
it
world.
along. Yeah, she's an avid athlete.
Do the Broadway Wicked guys have a secret group chat?
No. Why are we so lame? No, we don't. Wow. I don't think I'm on any of the group chats. I think the ensemble has one, but no, I'm so secluded up here in my little dungeon.
Was there ever a moment where you forgot choreography on stage and had to improvise?
Yes, and you don't want to see that because, as I said, I have no dance experience and no language to speak of. Luckily, my character alludes to another character with all of his dance moves. So if I mess up and I just kind of like hold poses like that, it works. Okay,
I love this question. What is your I can't believe I get paid for this moment weekly?
At the end of the show, Elphaba is singing off into the audience, and I'm standing there looking at her behind her, and Glinda's up here in the bubble, and I'm looking out at the audience, and the witches are in my view, and my show is done, and I have a moment of, wow, this is every like theater kid's dream, to be on the biggest Broadway stage in the biggest Broadway show, and I'm living it right now.
Yeah, this is truly a moment in time, and I'm just so glad I got to encapsulate a little bit of this moment in time with you on our run today and our podcast. I hope you're feeling good going into your 2 shows.
I do. I really do. I'll probably stretch a little bit, sit with my legs on the wall, but other than that, man, I'm just so honored that you guys brought me on. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. This is Jordan Litz, guys. Everybody follow him. You've got until March, maybe sooner, to come see him on Broadway.
Just in case, come before March 1st.